Why supporting Mexico?
Huh?
Right, that's the Mexican.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, why is your support for them?
Got to support the motherland. Mother's from Mexico, family's all from Mexico, so got blood runs deep for the Mexican national team. So hopefully they can pull it out against Poland in the second half.
Why the change on kick returner?
Added juice out of Boston. Just some other stuff. Nothing that Britain's done. Britain's done a good job for us in terms of his protection of the ball, getting yards when he can. And, a lot of people put a lot of onus on the returner, why hasn't he got that yards, but there's 10 other guys that have to block, and we have to do a better job of creating a running lane, nothing that Britain hasn't done. He's protected the ball every time. He's trying to get as much yards as possible. Just a little added juice out of Boston, who's, very capable of doing that.
Chargers in their game, I believe it's the Chargers, they used Dicker, they used that little pop-up kickoff. They did that one. Do you see that being a potential trend for teams doing that? And how tough is it as a special teams coordinator to prepare for something like that?
That's all a situational thing. You'll see a lot over, I guess, the history of the NFL. When you get a plus 50 kick like that, you're trying to pin an opponent deep when you have an advantageous situation like that. And obviously Cam did a good job in that game with that. And you'll see it a lot, across the board. You will try to steal some yardage right there in the plus 50 situation of kicking that type.
The missed field goal, does Andre affect that kick?
In our minds, we like to think so, but it's something we saw on film where there was an opportunity to rush the edge and push, get around the kicker's eyesight. Maybe he'll push it. Luckily for us, Andre had a good rush right there where he may have gotten in the kicker's eyesight. Maybe the kicker just missed it. You never know, but the pressure that the field goal block team has been creating the last couple of weeks does help a little bit in terms of opponents missing those kicks right there.
It's 2 weeks back now, but I guess last week we didn't speak to you. When Sipas was pressured there and had to improvise, is that what his coach should do, or is that just instincts in that situation?
Hopefully, I never have to coach a guy that a guy just runs free. You have to improvise to your right. But kudos to Aaron being the athlete he is. It helps, being a former professional Australian Football League player, and he did a lot of that at Auburn. That he was able to think on his feet. Obviously, we can't ever have that happen in our protection scheme. But he made a heck of a play. Let us, repunt it. Got off another good punt right there. So again, just kudos to Aaron, just being the athlete and keeping his cool right there to just get that ball off more than anything else.
Let's talk about how analytics has obviously come into the sport, but often they'll talk about it in special teams. How has that sort of gotten into how things are run on the special team side? How do you see its influence?
Yeah, I think it comes down to what do you perceive to be the best situation for your football team with the analytics and everything. And just like in anything else in the offense and defense, it does pour into special teams. So, those guys upstairs do a really good job in terms of implementing some strategies or, hey, this is the trend of this year, what's going to happen more than anything else. So, we're always ears open, taking anything we can to better this team from a special team standpoint.
You guys had the 4th and 10 and decided to go for it instead of kicking like a 57-yard field goal, I believe. What was what went into that decision? Do you go up to Nick and say, yeah, I think Jake can make that, or how does that work?
Yeah, we always give a line on what we feel is comfortable and everything, but from us, a special team standpoint, and those 3 specialists back there, when our number is called, they're always ready to go and give us an opportunity to put points on the board right there. But it's the communication between myself and Coach Sirianni, and Coach Sirianni does an absolutely great job in terms of the communication right there. So we were ready for any situation, whether we're kicking a field goal or, maybe a penalty happens and we have to put the punt team out there. The communication's always been crystal clear with Coach Sirianni, so we're just ready whenever our number's called.
Was that in his range? Was that in his range in that situation?
The 57-yarder?
Yeah.
Yeah, if you probably ask Jake anytime he's out there, you think he's in his range right there. But the communication from Coach Sirianni to myself is an opportunity right there. So 57, 47, 52, it don't matter. We go out when Coach Sirianni wants us to go out there, and we'll get the job done.
It's been kind of a weird year for Jake, not many attempts. How does he stay fresh? How do you keep him ready even when he's not getting all those attempts?
It's easy when you got a professional like Jake Elliott out there. I mean, he's always ready to go out there whenever his number is called. And I think, if you don't have a lot of field goal attempts and you have a lot more extra point attempts, the offense is doing a heck of a job. So we'd rather put 1 on the board than 3. But when the opportunity presents itself, we're going to be out there ready with the operation with Rick and Aaron holding. Jake going out there just like it's anything else and making sure we put 3 points on the board and get our kickoff team ready.
Who decides when Devontae goes out there, and what are sort of the, parameters for when he is deployed as a punt returner?
It just goes back to the communication between myself and Coach Sirianni. I don't want to go into too many details on when we're going to use him in terms of that, but the communication has always been crystal clear with that, and Devontae's been an outstanding, individual player. You already know that, but when he's out there, he's solely focused on catching the ball and trying to make a big play.